Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the archive. God, I feel stupid saying that. We're here on a Monday. Work schedule's fucked this week, so I had to squeeze in these streams when I could, which is why I'm streaming at 4:30 in the afternoon on Wednesday. I have a split shift that day, and I have 6 hours between leaving in the early afternoon to going back to close, so I figured that would be the best time, given that I'm closing tomorrow, and fucking Thursday, and technically Wednesday too. Works a bitch. But, you know, what can you do? We're back with Final Fantasy XIV, as always. Well, not always, because, you know, it's a fucking Monday, but we're here. I have been doing my due diligence and actually logging in and leveling Rogue into Ninja. In fact, I just got done with my daily roulettes shortly before I started the stream. We're level 45, which means by hopefully next week, when we officially start Stormblood, I should definitely be level 60. I managed to do this over the course of yesterday, playing yesterday, today, and Saturday. And I haven't put that much time into it, but I've made quite a bit of progress. As for today, honestly, we're just gonna kinda do some side stuff, because I can't start Stormblood officially yet. My goal, we're gonna do some Mandeville quests, and we are going, I don't know. I was thinking about using New Game Plus to... I didn't actually read any of the... quests, because I figured what I'd do is I'd go back into New Game Plus and do all of the job quests on stream, so I did not pay attention. I just skipped through them all. But, so, I think that's what we're gonna do. I think we're gonna start with that. We're gonna commence... What do you mean I'm undertaking a lev? What do you mean? Can I just... do I still have that? I guess we're going to do that. I completely forgot I have this leave active. I think I've literally had this since I was actually level 15. Yeah, that's fine. What am I doing? We're leading a guy to safety. Gutrix Silverpix. Alright. Emotes. Come on. I don't want to be doing this, but I don't have a choice if I'm going to do New Game Plus, apparently. To do fucking rogue missions again. I mean, we're already 30% of the way through. It's fine. It's fine. It'll literally take me all of, like, 2 minutes. Yes, they are. Done. Okay, good. Leave. Woo. Yay. We did it. It's so difficult. Fantastic. We're done. Yep. Give me my pitiful experience. That was enough to give me level 46. Why am I doing levs? Because I wanted to do New Game Plus to do the rogue quests on stream, because I skipped through them while I was leveling, and apparently I can't do that if I have a an allowance live in my quest list. And I had one from literally like 6 months ago, just sitting there, waiting to be completed. So I had to clear that. So now, we could go and do this. Yes. Boom. We're in New Game Plus mode. I can go do the rogue quests. That is really dumb. I 100% agree. Ah, fuck. Limsa. Yeah, I just kind of skipped through all these quests, so I could still make progress. But, didn't make much sense to do all these quests off-stream and actually pay attention and read them and do them again. Yeah, it seems weird. What the fuck? That is really weird. I've never actually used this used New Game Plus before. This is actually my first time using the damn thing. It wow, it completely disables a bunch of things, because there's like a job quest there that I would normally have active, because I still have yet to continue the dancer quest line. But, fucking hell. Alright. Alright. There's naught behind these doors. Covent doors for worldly type like you, missus. We're the dutiful sisters of the Edelweiss, all pure and saintly like. Now bugger off. Hang about. Ain't ye that lass that goes by the name of the Warrior of Light? I knew it. Something about millin' primals leaves its mark on a person. It does. Anyway, you being who you are, you must have an inkling as to what goes on here, eh? The Admiral sent you to meet with one of me associates after the business with the Leviathan, if you recall. What the fuck? That's fucking hilarious. That's right. You stand at the entrance to the Rogues Guild. Of course, 'twould be a poor sort of underground organization if we put a bleeding sign up on the front door. Anyway, from what Lady Ugiri told me, you're pretty handy in a scrap. She's off seeing to some private business right now, but I reckon we might have some use for a prime lass like you. If you've got an interest in joining us, tip your dawdles, and we'll put up a hilt in each one, just like the gods intended. So, what do you say? Fancy learning a new trade? Yeah, totally. I'm joining the guild for the first time, yep. Good to see you're keen, but I should probably warn you on a few points before you dive in. Where most guilds take pride in turning their members into the best bloody candlestick makers they can be, we only care about getting the job done. And the job ain't pretty. You become one of us, and you'll soon be neck-deep in scum and knife fights. So if you're looking to scamper across rooftops and bilk dandies, oh, they're blunt, you'd best take up with a different crew. Think on that and come back if you're still keen. Yeah, I'm not gonna leave. It didn't scare you off then? But they told me he was a meddlesome lass, and so it's proved. You'll need every ounce of that metal soon enough. Now step inside and have a prattle with Jack. He's our upright man, the master of the guild. Yep, let me in. Luckily, since I've already done all of the actual things, like the actual job stuff, the instance shit, I should get through it real quick. I'm the one they call Jack. Though I'm surprised you've heard of me. Perhaps you'd be good enough to tell me your name, along with that of the kindly cove as you told me ye mine. Fluffy Burb. You get a burb from fishing? I mean, I guess birds do eat fish, so I guess that the logic kind of follows through. Ah, the famous warrior Light. Old Lonnie left Patch let you in, did he? Can't throw a blade for shite, but that one eye don't miss naught when it comes to sizing up a dimmer mort for the stallin'. I don't know what any of these fucking words mean, man. You're saying a lot of nonsense. Just one thing. You ain't a pirate, are you? Well then, it's time ye was stalled to the rogue. Pull on your best beater cases, and I'll swear ye in meself when you're ready. Now, I could fill your waddles with the storied history of our guild, but that's just weeds and wind. The most important thing, the only thing we care about, is getting the job done. Very cute greenish blue burb minion from level 100 Fisher Retainer Ventures. Holy fuck. I barely leveled up fucking Leatherworker to like 35, I think. Let alone leveling up a Gatherer Crafter all the way to 100. Oh, God. Now, most folk, and I'm assuming you're among them, know that not long after Limsa's founding, the city was overrun by a motley collection of pirates and thieves. But as wild as that lot were, it soon became clear that they'd all end up killing each other if they didn't lay down a few rules. An unspoken code of conduct, as it were. 1, you don't bite the purses of your fellow Laminsons. 2, you don't rook a crew out of their spoils. And 3, you don't trade culls like they were chattel. I'll admit the finer points of the code are a mite murky. Most agree on those 3 at least. Holy shit. I can't imagine that was a small endeavor. That probably took forever. I mean, I don't even have a normal job up to 100. Let alone fucking gatherers and crafters. Now, you might be thinking none of that amounts to a sack of dillberries now that the Admiral's outlawed piracy, but in the back alleys and black markets where Merylweb's grip ain't so tight, Goat's still alive and well. Fucking 6 mil. Holy shit. Apparently people really want that fucking bird. And just as the law is enforced by the Yellow Jackets, the code is regulated by us rogues. We go where shadows are darkest and hand out justice to them and break the code. Some rum-soaked cove steals goods from the wrong cull and we steal them back. That's the job. Of course, we don't hop the twig when blade work's called for neither. You'll see there's more to our dagger play than just sticking culls with a pointy end. We'll weaken a mark with poison, fade away and strike in the darkmans. Whatever it takes to get the work done. Well, what do you say to that? Got the guts to do a rogue's job? Given I've already been doing it for 45 levels? Yeah, kinda. Alright then. First off, we'll have to get your kit sorted out. A rogue might need to be light on her dew-beaters to stay on a mark's trail. The job might have you fighting across a deck or even through a mob, and the last thing you want is a bleeding great battle axe when it hooks itself on every rope and post. The most expensive minion is Wind-Up Idonis or 26 mil! Jeez, man! I haven't made that entire guild in my career. I made maybe max, like probably 5 mil across all of my play. Granted, I haven't even started Stormblood, but still, that's a lot. Here, take these stabbers and let me see how they look on ya. Just don't get so excited with your new toys that you forget to dress for the role. You'd be surprised how many clots come back to me in their bloody small clothes. I appreciate that you are telling me that Rogue is unlocked, but it's not. Right. I gotta actually unequip my dagger. That's fine. The glamours can go away for quest, I guess. Managed to strap those daggers on without cutting yourself? Well, we're off to a good start, I'd say. Yeah, that's a bit expensive. Paying half of your total gil for a, what, like 2 minions or 1 minion seems a bit much. Next, you'll be wanting to get a feel for the weight and speed of your new weapons. I reckon those bleeding cheats in the field outside Limsus would serve for your first lesson. I test your blades on a few of them lambs and slice up some rats and pugils for good measure. Mind that ye mill them beasties one at a time, though. I know you've served far worse in the past, but no, you're no dimber-damber with them stabbers just yet. You know, I forgot this class doesn't actually technically unlock until after the main story of A Realm Reborn. Oh yeah, just straight up locks every other quest. Alright, luckily, it just swapped my hotbar back to how it was when I was a rogue. So I don't have to re-equip the stuff when I re-equip my jobstone. Well, Twitch, I swear, it doesn't work properly half the time. Like, I will keep it up to keep an eye on the bitrate, but it just does not like to cooperate. Honestly, I don't even know why I keep it up to watch the bitrate, because it just, the bitrate is garbage on my end all the time, no matter what I'm watching. Exactly. Fishermen. This should be the fastest series of job quests I've ever done. Done with your milling, are ya? You can never have enough blade practice. In fact, I'll even add a list of marks to your hunting log. Pit yourself against the lot, and you'll soon learn some new steps for your dance with the daggers. Hi, you must think of yourself as a dancer, not a bleeding butcher. You only need so much force to ram a short blade into the hilt. Precision and speed, that's how you get the most out of your stabbers. Bulky armor will only have you plodding about like ungainly oryx, so make sure you're wearing gear that'll let you move freely as well. Alright? Get your blade work up to scratch, and I might just have a job for you. Oh there. I must say, you're looking comfortable enough for those stabbers of yours. I reckon you're good and ready for your first assignment. Ordinarily, I'd just stow me wids and let you get on with your work, but seeing as we only just dragged you into the shadows, there might be a couple things what you yet ain't familiar with. Let's build on what you likely do know. And that's the fact that Admiral, God bless his soul, has outlawed piracy in Limsa Lominsa. So why do you think there's still so many sodden pirates in this town? I'll tell you why. It's because there's still one way for them to loot and pillage without incurring the wrath of the law. All you need to do is apply to serve the thalassocracy as a certified privateer. A captain with a privateer's license is free to terrorize the sea till all the old goats come home, so long as he only targets vessels what belong to the Garlean Empire. Of course, considering how bloody vast the Empire is, that's plenty of looting to go around. Crews fill their holds with Imperial plunder, then sail back here to Limsa to offload the spoils. And that's where this particular case went sour. See, this one crew got their fambles on a Magitech device, a firing mechanism to be precise, but was rooked out of their hull by some heavy-handed cuffs. If you'll recall that we don't sit well with the code. If you're bold enough to rook a pirate out of his due, then you'd best be prepared for a visit from the rogues. Speaking of visiting rogues, Underfoot, over here, lad. I want the pair of you working together on this. Best sentence on them code-defying rooks and bite back in that Magitech part. What's the last need me for? You're in charge of new recruits, ain't you? It's her first assignment. You're to go along and give her the benefit of your wisdom. Since when was I in charge of new... bugger it. So, I guess we're to be partners for the now. The name's Perimu Harimu. But most of me fellows just call me Underfoot. You might seem a bit touch reluctant, but Perimu's one of our best. You just do as he says, and you'll get the job done. I'm curious. No. That skill did not transfer back to Rogue. Alright then, me young rogue. Seeing as this is your first official outing, I want to be sure your dance steps are up to the task. With them short blades, you need to get good and close to your mark, aye? But we ain't bleeding swads in shining armor, and the lighter kit we wear ain't much protection from a click to the gan. So, if you don't fancy splitting blood and teeth, your best defense is simply not being there when your mark winds up to land a nasty clout. Sliding around to a flank usually does the trick, but there's some rum fun every rogue should master. The Shade Shift. Clear your mind and trust in your speed, and you can leave an axe-wielding brute or spell-flinging mage chasing your shadow, while ye bury your stabbers in his guts. Right, now it's time you put this lesson into practice against some of those Orale out there in Lower Lenoska. I hope you was paying attention, because those tentacles can pack a wallop. Enjoy. I forgot that this was the second part of this quest. Or the first part of this quest. Going to my least favorite map in A Realm Reborn. The fucking long-ass map that takes forever to traverse and only has one teleport at the very far end. Luckily, I'm already in the planning stages of what other classes I want to level for the other expansions when I get to them, so I don't have to worry about doing this fucking stall sort of job quest stall thing that I'm doing now. Pondering the length of giraffe trachea. I mean, I don't know enough about giraffe anatomy to help you, but that sounds. It's gotta be like long, I would assume. Alright, back to the Rogues Guild. What is aggroed onto me? Thank you. What am I doing? Fisherman's Guild. We're gonna do this fast. If everything goes well, I will get, like, all of these quests from 1 to 30 should only take me, like, an hour and a half, maybe? And then we'll spend the last hour, since I don't have a ton of time to stream tonight, like 2.5 hours, fucking work, doing Manderville. Done with your practice, then. The sting of them tentacled buggers will soon teach you to stay on your toes, eh? Now we've got your blood rushing, I'd say it's time to get down to work. First things first, we need to track down them addled coves what rooked that Magitech gadget. Might be as one of our rogues had heard something. The guild thrives on information, you see, and we've agents scattered far and wide with their glazes keeping an eye keen and their wattles to the ground. Let's pay a visit to old Latowen at the Drowning Wench. Ask her for a weak ale and see what that gets you. And that's setting you up for a laugh, lass. Trust me. Let's see. Closest one to that is Aft. Alright, I should probably shift my shit around so I can actually have this stuff on where I would normally have it. That would be on T. That can be there. Second one can be there. Shade shift. Since I'm not missing, since I don't have any of my ninjutsu, it can sit on 4. A weak ale. Never in all my days. We may serve some cheap grog in the wench, but not that was watered down. If our usual ale is too bold for your taste, mayhaps you'd like to order from the underground menu? Aye, there's quite a lot on offer for a customer with your roguish charms. Was there something in particular I could help you with? Ah, the trouble over that Magitech loot. It was not a subtle job. The gang in question is an unusual group of former pirates calling themselves the Dainty Demolishers. The Dainty Demolishers. Not the name I'd call myself, but whatever you say. They seem to be enamored of court dandy mannerisms and have preference for seasoned Garlean machinery. They're also known for conspiring with goblins. Rumors say that the Demolishers visit a beastman camp in Middle Lenoska to fence their goods. And those goods generally take the form of Imperial technology. I imagine the goblins were rather pleased to take possession of a Mark... whatever the fuck that Roman numeral is. Anti-aircraft cannon firing mechanism. If you mean to steal the device back, then your trail leads to the goblin camp in Summerford. Summerford? Oh, on your way, lass. Meet me across the river from the camp and we'll plan our next move. Okay, Summerford. Go kill some goblins. Alright, Barimu. What are we doing? Get your noggin down. I've been snilching the action across the way there. No sign of the demolishers, but I did see one of them gambler cubs stuffing the Garlean gadget into his backpack. I knew Itwalin would steer us all right. This is your chance. Clap that gambler gobby and grabble that device. I've lost track of which gob it was, but I'm thinking it was the side on the left. Just make sure you dance away from any bomb blast, twisting and dodging in the middle of a fireball might not save you from getting your eyebrows singed off. Alright, I moved that back to the key it was normally on. Got it. That's the way, lass. There was naught for me to do but sit on me dawdles and watch. So you've got the goods, then. Yeah, here you go. Aye, this is the device, and no mistaken. Let's get it back to the guild, eh? We still owe them demolisher bastards a million, but they'll keep the net for the now. Here, you should be the one to deliver the prize to Jack. It was your hand what snatched it out of the goblin's paws, after all. Captain! Captain, I say. Some fiend has perpetrated violence upon our goblin colleagues whilst we sought to wet our throats with fine libations. This will not stand, Captain. Our finely filched loot has been pilfered from under our noses. Blasted bother. My blood boils and bubbles at the temerity of this affront. Wow, you are very verbose. Your dictionary, your fucking thesaurus must be fucking faded at this point. From all of the fucking page turning. I know not the identity of these audacious buffoons, but they shall be made to pay, and pay dearly. With me, my fine fellows. Huzzah! Fucking verbose fucking pirates. Let me in. You managed to grapple that firing mechanism yet? Ah, still in one piece, too. You've done well for your first assignment. It doesn't look like much, but that crew put their lives on the line to cloy this here bauble. They'll be pleased to see it snatched back from the ruffians. We've yet to do for the dainty demolishers, Jack. The job ain't over. You're right, Underfoot. It ain't. You break the code, you face the consequences. Oh, this is not at all what I expected from the inside of a covenant. And who might you be, sirs? Your ignorance is understandable. After all, our schemes are always perfect. Our heists impeccable. Shall I reveal our infamous name and drink in your delicious terror? We are the deadly, dastardly, and jurisdictionally devilish. Quail before the dainty demolishers. Yeah, I'm not really impressed here, guys. Captain? Captain, I say, there's the louse who misappropriated our merchandise. I concur. She is the self-same simpleton whom we trailed unnoticed to this very establishment. Surprise, surprise. Now, now, my dear dandies, let us not be unpleasant. We should endeavor to resolve this distastefulness without resorting to insult or other less diplomatic methods. At least not yet. You there. Yes, the clean-cheeked errand boy. Be a good fellow and fetch me your superior. Now one of your colleagues has committed a terrible crime against us, and we shall not be leaving until the proper restitution has been paid. Oh, an errand boy now, am I? Now, this isn't gonna go well for you. Tell me, Captain, just what kind of place do you think this is, then, huh? This place? Why, I suppose it's some manner of covenant. The one-eyed doorman named it the Dutiful Sisters of the Edelweiss, or some such. And you've yet to realize your mistake. Your fate was sealed the moment you dragged your sorry quarren across the threshold. Are you threatening me, boy? I'll have my fellows cut out that impudent tongue. We have exhausted our reserves of the dainty today, lads. Show these fraudulent sisters how the demolishers deal with upstarts. You still don't understand, do ya? Yeah, he's dead. Literally just murdered that guy. There are but three sorts of calls what the doorman'll let pass. Clients, recruits. God spit. I'll kill you all. Yeah, I'm not sure what you were really expecting here. Didn't your mum teach you not to interrupt the lady when she's talking? Yet I've learned that the sort of call is a bullocks for brains mark that what marches himself right into the rogue's den. Rogues? But we were so careful. I'd heard the tales in me pirate days. Stories about the merciless wraiths who uphold the code. They weren't called rogues back then, though. The upright thieves they were. The knives in the shadows. You can't be them. You're just trying to scare me. Well, the captain of the Dainty Demolishers is not so easily cowed. To hell's with your deceptions. Huzzah! Huzzah for my fallen comrades! Yep, and he's dead. Deceptions? Aye, anyone who you meet could be a rogue, Captain. Even a clean-cheeked errand boy. He's still breathing. Find some rope and string him up someplace in town. And now, the job's done. Quite an introduction you had there, eh? Welcome to the Limsa ever-turning underbelly, where the thieves shed their skins and become rogues. That was quite an introduction. I'm not much for discussing the old days, but since it come up, I might as well clear up the confusion. It was back when piracy was at its peak. The coves what protected the code were dimber dambers, the best lads and lasses to be had from among the pirate crews. They bit back the goods what was wrongly bitten, and came for the guilty under the cover of darkmans. Upright thief became the title for these coves what dealt with and sanctioned stealin' and millin'. But it was only those who had cut all ties with the buccaneer's life what was accepted into the ranks, conflicting loyalties and all that. They formed their own guild and even their own way of speaking, and what was once pirates was pirates no more. Later on, when Merylwood took the Admiral's chair, the Upright Thieves agreed to abide by her laws. We became the Rogues Guild to mark the change, and altered our recruiting policy to accept venturers like yourself. But although the title is different, the job remains the same. Uphold the code and preserve the underground society that spawned us. Just as you've done with this assignment. Keep up the good work, and you'll go far in the shadows. These quests are taking a little longer than I thought they would. Guess you really don't get a good grasp of how long the quests actually take if you just skip through all the dialogue and cutscenes. A fine evening to you. And a fine evening it is for a spot of work, wouldn't you agree? This time round, it seems some eager buccaneer scampered aboard a local merchantman and made off with a shipment of muskets. Now, seeing as it ain't lawful to cloy from a lamentin vessel to begin with, the Yellow Jackets fell upon them daft coves before their boots were even dry. Aye, they caught the pirates right there on the docks, but the stolen broomsticks was nowhere to be found. Fence and a longboat deal, I'm thinking. That's when our guild was officially contracted to retrieve the goods, which weren't really needful since the code would have had us on the job anyway. You don't bite the purses of your fellow Lamencins and all that. So this is your assignment. Find out where the weapons went and bite that shipment back. Seeing as the cutters that has hit the merchantmen are already rotten in irons, you needn't rush in with your stabbers and stabbing. I want this job handled quick and quiet, and I have the perfect partner to show you how it's done. This here's FFXIV the Stray. Ain't no other rogue what can match her in the arts of skulking. A pleasure. There's some problem, Vikebe? You seem a bit out of sorts. I'm bloody starving. I had one of them finger sandwiches set aside, you know? Those egg-filled tasties they make at the Bismarck. But when I got back from me work, it was bloody gone. Oh, that was Vikeb's? I thought it was Underfoot's. Well, you just head out on the job, and I'll see if I can't turn up that missing sandwich by the time you return. Alright, Jack. One more little detail you should know. The muskets was meant for the Yellow Jackets' armory, so once all is bob, you can hand the goods to one of their calls directly. Alright, easy enough. This shit, from what I remember, this quest was particularly easy. Oh, I guess it was in there, and I missed it somehow. I'm talking to Vikeb, I assume. Yep. We can start whenever you're ready. I've had a colleague keeping a wattle out for aught that might help us, so I suggest you have a few wids with her first. You'll find her at the Hyaline, posing as a fishmonger. Aft Castle. Yep, right through here. I remember most of the actual walking and moving. Hello there, miss. We've carp and trout, lobster and shrimp, but I hear you tell you've been looking for some special breed of fish. The long, shiny kind what Spark'll put a bloke on his arse. We don't sell that kind here, but you might try them foreign merchants. What was they called again? Ah, the Traders of Edge. They hail from the South Sea Isles and are known for dealing in all types of nasty spitters and cutters. I should warn ya, these folks ain't one for questioning the source of their merchandise. In fact, they seem more happy to pay for the goods what came from below decks, so to speak. But if you're still keen to get your hands on those rare fish, then you'd best try hurry. The edge merchants what visiting Limsa is looking to load up and leave the city afore long. Just how he means to transport his goods remain a mystery, though. What with all the iron blades he got nursing his operation, it makes for an hard for a girl to get close enough to eyeball the competition it does. I'll be sure to keep an eye peeled on your behalf, but it might be as ye can learn a little more from the folk around town. Alright, now we're doing the whole, gather information segment. Traders of the Edge, huh? Well, if one of their merchants has been staying in the city, then someone will know something to point us in the right direction. The trick is to listen without being seen. You'd be surprised at how it calls a cackle when they think no one else is about. We'll focus on places what see plenty of traffic. You can have the Bismarck, the Ferry Docks, and East Hawker's Alley. I'll try me luck at a few other spots, and then meet you in front of the guild when I'm done. Remember, keep hidden, keep quiet, and keep your waddles open. Yep, okay. So, first things first is the Bismarck. The sneer on that customer's face. Does he think I can command the skillet to cook more swiftly just to meet his pressing departure schedule? I don't know how things are done in the South Seas, but here in Limsa folk appreciate the fine cuisine cannot be rushed. Come now, Dove, you must not speak ill of the patrons. Now, what was next on my list? Ah, another finger sandwich for the dutiful sisters. Someone there must be rather fond of eggs. Lower docks. Alright, so we need East Hawker's Alley. Which is just over here. What the fuck is happening? Garoof is speaking in a low but lively tone. Yep. You have quite an eye for quality, sir. We've a splendid range of produce from every corner of Eorzea, but one simply cannot visit Limsa without sampling some of the local specialties. Would you care for our freshly squeezed no-skin orange juice? Or perhaps our famed salt cod is more to your taste. Yep. No use here. Also, I totally just drank that potion and I didn't need to. Curse my sense of duty. Would that I had stayed at the wench for that extra pint instead of returning early. I didn't ask to see anyone being bribed, and certainly not my relief pilot. I wonder what that merchant was about. Smuggling? Most likely. Should I report this to the Yellow Jackets? But what if I'm being watched? I could end up face down in the harbor. Alright, easy peasy. Welcome back. I hope your skulking went well. You might be an angel of death with daggers, Dove, but any rogue what shuns the shadows is headed for an early grave. A sneaky mort can nose about without risking a scrap, or slip herself into the best position to ambush a mark. Once they've seen you, though, your rum fun is done. Hiding is part of concealment and part distraction, and you won't be disappearing on the cove what already knows you there. Alright, I'm done prattling. What did you manage to learn about our musket-buying merchant friend? Slipping coins to a ferry pilot, was he? And by what you heard from that chef at the Bismarck, this trader means to hop the twig, and soon. That matches with me own findings. He's vacated his rooms at the inn and paid his dues in full. Being a merchant, we can be sure that he won't be leaving without his merchandise. So here's the plan. We wait for him to stack his goods on the pier, then you ghost in and grab all them firearms. I'm hoping we can get the job done quiet and under cover of Darkmans, but it never hurts to be prepared for the worst. Sounds like he's got a small army of sellswords on the payroll. Alright, let's do this. Easy. We sneak up, then we run. I did it again. I just should remove this from my hotbar. You're not supposed to be here. I thought I ordered my hirelings to keep this jetty clear. 1, 2, 3. There's one missing. My crate of muskets! It's gone! Thief! Stop her, you useless sluggards! What am I paying you for? And now we walk. I could theoretically fight my way through, but I'm trying to do this quickly, and that's not quick. These are our stolen muskets. The quartermaster will be pleased. That turned hairy, didn't it, Dove? Once he reached the yellow jacket, though, the merchant called off his blades. Wise enough to cut his losses, I'll give him that. I'd say we're all done here. Let's head inside and tell Jack the Bena news. I heard the sounds of fighting coming from outside, and now I've whittled the cause of it. I thought we were aiming for subtle on this job. Yeah, that many swads was there. But you got the yellow jackets what they wanted, so all's well that ends well, eh? You're on your way to becoming a first-class rogue. Aye, the job didn't unfold exactly as planned, but do you see the value of keeping out of sight? Skulking might seem slow, but it can save you time and a fair amount of bleeding in the long run. Speaking of unexpected developments, I've a bit of bad news for you, Vacabe. I searched high and low, but it seems some unprincipled cove has yaffled your sandwich. There were naught but crumbs to be found. No, my sandwich. It was a Bismarck special. Do you know how much I was looking forward to that meal? The Bella's about to cave in on itself. This is a tragedy of the highest order, love, and you know I can't bear to see me rogues in such distress. So I gave Underfoot a special assignment. You should be back any moment now. With a freshly made Bismarck special finger sandwich. You did that for me? You're not japing with me, are you, Jack? This ain't no japing matter. 'Tis a guildmaster's responsibility to see that all his coves and morts are at their best for the job. Jack, there you are. I've got that sandwich you ordered. And didn't the chief give me a waddleful when I said we was in a hurry? Mayhap next time you can think twice before you yaffle a yellow fellow rogue sup. Oh, bollocks. Jack, did you eat my supper? Now, lass, let's not be hasty. There's a fresh new sandwich right here for you. No harm done, eh? You've cloyed something what belonged to me, Jack, and I can't ignore the code. Aye, the code. We mustn't ignore the code. You're having a laugh, aren't you, lass? Lass? That might be the swiftest string-up I've ever seen. A punishment to fit the crime. Take a good long look. The code exists to preserve peace in Limsa, to keep the alleys from running red with blood. This city's me home, and I'll draw daggers on any cove fool enough to threaten that peace. A pointed lesson. Let's head inside, eh? Your sandwich will get cold. Hey, do you mean to leave me here all night? At least you gave me a grand view of the harbor. God's piss, these ropes are tight. And now we find ourselves indebted to the Rogues Guild. The Rogues Guild. The impropriety of it all. But that I could see them occupying a cell next to those thieving pirates. Somebody's not too happy. I mean, we're doing good. It's just kind of our thing, you know, being, little bit underhanded with our methods, you know? It's like stealing and, like, theft and sneaking around and all that stuff. It's just kind of our thing, you know? You can't fault us for what we are. Ow. Them ropes will leave chaff marks for a bleeding week. I may have wriggled myself free, but that's the last time I let me belly do the thinking. And just think, Vakebe struck me up over an egg sandwich. Those coves what will truly stomp on the code get it far worse. Keep up your training, lass, and you'll soon be handing out the rogue justice yourself. Ah, just the mort I was hoping to see. We've some nasty trouble brewing. The client's on his way, so sit tight and pay attention. I'm calling Underfoot and the Stray in on this as well. It'll be right little rogue family reunion. I forget which one this was. Jack, the client's arrived. Our guest here has come from Maelstrom Command with confidential orders direct from the Admiral herself, so you know this won't be a simple job. I'm afraid your guildmaster speaks truly. 'Twas several days ago when an emancipated man stumbled into one of our camps seeking aid. Upon questioning the poor fellow, we discovered that he had narrowly escaped a life of slavery. He claimed that pirates had raided his village, abducting him and many others to sell on a black market auction block. We dispatched a patrol to confirm the tale and found the village almost completely destroyed. 'Twas a meager settlement without so much as a guardhouse. Thus did its unkind fate escape our notice until now. I think these pirates had never heard of the code. Pillaging honest culls and dipping their wicks into the slave trade? They're heading the right way for a good stabbing. Aye. Though it ain't set down in so many widths, the code's notoriously unforgiving against those as raise a weapon against the weak. After all, the first pirates in these parts were culls what was fleeing oppression in the northern seas. Ignore your history, and ye risk becoming what it was ye hated most. So, you've a mark for us, then? That we do. From the description given to us by an escaped villager, we've determined that these lawbreakers are members of the Jolly Merchants, a pirate crew in possession of an official privateering license. 'Twould appear, however, that privateering has not been but a screen behind which to hide their illicit activities. One can only imagine how many other lemons and citizens have fallen prey to these wicked slavers. And we've let it happen right under our very noses. Naturally, the Admiral desires a swift resolution to this ignominy, but merely tracking down those poor souls who have already been sold is proving heavily taxing to our allocated resources. We could throw more soldiers at the problem, but that runs the risk of drawing the small folks' attention and inciting undue panic. Thus do we come to the Rogues Guild for help. We ask that you eliminate the Jolly Merchants and liberate the villagers presently in their custody, and that you do so with the utmost discretion. Consider it done. When those nasty coves feel our short blades pricking into their backs, they'll enjoy but a brief moment of regret for the code is rightly enforced. Alright, let's get to work. I'll be going after the Jolly Merchants myself. Underfoot, Fikebe, you two lend your skills to the Maelstrom's investigation and see what you can whittle about the calls that have already been sold. You're coming with me. I think you're ready for the next step of your education. Shall we get after those slaving cutthroats then? Our client tells me that the Jolly Merchantmen set sail from Aleport a few bells ago. Oh, aye, they might even board an Imperial ship or two, but that's just some mummery they're putting on to amuse the Admiral's swads. I reckon the rest of the crew will be back on land looking to snap the shackles on a fresh ear to chattel. Just to prove me theory right, one of them jolly bastards got himself spotted creeping about the Roughmans in the lower Lenoska. There's a Bene Cove over at Moraby Dry Docks by the name of Swenswart that'll likely know the full story. He's more of a shipwright than a rogue these days, but he keeps his glazes keen for the guild. Head over and have yourself a prattle, and I'll join you soon, like. This is really taking a lot longer than I thought it would. We're only on the level 15 quest. I was figuring we'd be nearing finished by now. This quest chain and dialogue is a lot longer than I expected it to be. Aye, I know what you are. What can old Swarson do for you? Hunted down jolly merchant slavers? Well, that explains a few things. I was keeping an eye on the bustle about the dry docks, you see, when I spied an odd trio off in the distance. This rough-looking sod, one of your pirates, I'd wager, was proddling along another bloke and his poor skinny lass. I have seen whipped curs less miserable than the two being herded. Last I saw, they were headed south. If what you're saying about the slavery business is true, then that jolly merchant's not going to walk his charges all the way to the market. No, he likely has a boat waiting for him. And if I were a slaver headed south, my vessel would be hidden somewhere along the Salt Strand. That doesn't leave you much time. You and Jack said Jack was on his way, yeah? You'd best go on ahead and I'll point him in the right direction when he gets here. All right. Yeah, there's our boat. Swarson came through for us, huh? Now what do we got here? This one looks a charmer. Sudden move, I told ya. Me pegged like grandma obbles quicker than you can, miserable sacks of shite. Or maybe you'll need another thrashing, is that it? Already forgot what happens when you try me generous patience. I'm sorry. Please no more beatings. We walked as fast as we could, but we need food. Water. Then get in the boat and shut your traps. They'll get fed when we reach the other side. The other side? Where are you taking us? You challenging me or just plain daft? I told you to keep your bleating mouth shut. Leviathan's scaly arse, she's weeping again. Listen, we're headed to Aleport, alright? That's where me and me shipmates gather to take the stock of the merchandise and decide what gets sold where. You see, some buyers only want lads, while others is looking for lasses. As long as we keep the rich bastards happy, we'll make more coin than we ever did scrapping with the Empire's war galleys. Not that you care about that, I suppose. What matters to you is you'll be loaded onto the Jolly Merchantman, sailed off to God's nowhere, and Limsa'll be a distant memory. So if I was you, I'd fill that empty belly with one last big gobful of sweet Lenoscan sea breeze. I'm sure tempted to put a blade twixt his eyes here and now, but that won't get the job done. No, we'll let him guide us to his mates in Aleport, and then we'll mill the whole bloody lot of them. The Jolly Merchants will get their due, don't you worry about that. They've gone. We'd best hurry to Aleport. Unless you have a quicker way, there's a ferry that leaves from Candlekeep Quay. I'll meet you across the water. Yeah, I have a quicker way. You'll meet me there, because I'll be there first. Fucking dumbass took a boat. Just fast travel through the Aethernet, forehead. Like, come on, it's not that hard. I'm sure you have the gil to cover the cost. Probably. And you still got here first. That Jolly Merchant's Cove still with his captives. Seems they've taken a room under an alias. Hiding their operation in plain sight. Bold as brass, aye, but an old slaver's trick. See, even if some cull recognizes the merchandise, only a single handler gets boned. The rest of the crew just whistles, all innocent-like, while their mates is marched off to dry cockles. And you bet they've threatened bloody murder for any prisoner what raises a hue and cry. Patience now, lass. We'll just wait until we're sure all these Blackscarred have arrived. Meanwhile, you'd best sharpen your stabbers. We've a busy night ahead of us. Let's go kill some slavers. One of my favorite activities. That ought to be long enough. We'll just have to hope there ain't any stragglers. Listen closely now. The merchants are disguised as plain old venturers and have settled themselves in 3 separate rooms here in Aleport. How do we whittle which coves are the merchants? Easy. Take a look at the dawdles and that bingo swilling cull over yonder. He's wearing lavender gloves, the exact type what nasty sod at the Salt Strand had on. That'll be how they find each other in a crowd. Of course, it's also how I whittled where each of the bastards is staying. Just snilch the hopeless gaze of the company they keep, and you'll be sure you've found your mark. So here's the job all laid out for you. We hit all 3 common rooms, mill the merchants quick and dirty like, and get those captains their bleeding lives back, alright? Oi! The storeroom's been forced open. Some thieving sod's been at the ale. Well, they can't have gotten far. Better get the lads and do a sweep of the port. Was that merchant cove gulping pilfered ale? You'd think they'd be doing their best not to draw attention to themselves, all things considered. Bloody oafs. And now we've got a swarm of yellowjackets buzzing about looking for blood. If they spot us wandering around in the darklands, I've a feeling they'll axe first and ask questions later. It'd be best, then, if the patrols never even knew we were here. We'll slip as sneaky as we can into each of the common rooms and use them telltale lavender gloves to identify our marks. There's innocent culls in there as well, mind, so let's try not to stab any that don't deserve it, eh? I'm thinking we should head out one at a time to better avoid them yellowjackets, so I'll let you take the lead. After you. Oh yeah, sure. All right. Number 2. Number 3 and number 4. That looks to be the last of them. And you didn't even need my help. Back into the shadows. Yeah, I should have fixed it. Easy peasy. I'm still getting a little experience from killing enemies, but really, it's pitiful. Not a bad night's work, eh? The Maelstrom will be taking care of that poor culls we freed, and I've made sure none of the merchants were downed or like to get up again. As for the Jolly Merchantman, well, her crew can expect a visit from one of the Admiral's finest galleys, and it won't be for tea and crumpets on the poop deck. Right, me natty lass. Our part in this is done. Time to head back to the sisters. Excuse me, are you the ones who freed us? Aye, well, is there something else we can do for you, miss? The Maelstrom swads will take you home if that's what you're worried about. Oh, no, I know. I just wanted to thank you. If I may, there was one other thing I wish to tell you. Moments before you rescued me, that dreadful pirate was muttering into his cups. It was something about another raiding party that hadn't made it back yet. I beg your pardon? It seems they've been hunting for slaves in western Lenoska, and being so close to Aleport, our captor assumed they were out rounding up chattel until the last bell. I just couldn't bear the thought of anyone else suffering as I have. Please, is there naught you can do? There certainly is, miss. You just get yourself safely home and leave this stray pack of jackals to us. I'll pray for your success. Thank you again. So much for savoring a victory pint. I'll send word of this development to Underfoot and the Stray. We've earned some well-earned trade for the last of these jolly merchant. By the by, how's your throwing arm? I think it's time I learned you how to fling a proper blade. When you're out in the wide open, roughmans, ye often find the need to sting a cove from a distance. And I'm sure a canny lass like yourself will figure out all sorts of uses for well-thrown dagger. Just keep in mind for when we hunt down the rest of them slavers. Level 15 quest. Approximately halfway done. Those last few Jolly Merchant bastards must be camped out somewhere in the western Lenoska. Now, if I was a black-blooded, gill-grubbing slaver, where would I be hiding? There's naught to the west but the Sahagin pools. Even those bollocks for brains know pirates better than to trespass on fishback territory. And they won't want a chance running into patrols near Aleport, so that just leaves us east. The flock? Aye, they'll likely be nestled down in the ruins out there amongst the dodos. That's where we'll try to pick up their trail. You head on over and snilch the place while I send word to the sisters in the Maelstrom. More things, more people to kill. Thank you for freeing us. We've been tied up here since those awful pirates snatched us from our beds. Those are some interesting looking dodos you've got there. No sign of the merchants though, eh? The leader mentioned heading over to Aleport. He said something about there being no signal, and that a signal was that was a signal something was wrong. They left us just hobbled there like lambs for the market. One of them japed about keeping the meat unsullied in case there was trouble. Pray let us flee this place before they return. And just who are you to just side in and let loose our hard-won prizes, hmm? Twas the damnedest thing. We'd have a crew lodge in an airport. Not one of them survived the night. Done in by a couple of sneaky curs what favored them short blades, they say. I'm supposing that was you two? Seems you have a bone to pick with our choice of trade. I can't say I have much use for slavers, except as a place to bury me knives. Oh, and I wouldn't bother yourself with waiting on your ship to come back neither. Jolly merchants are done for. You might have the right of it, lad. But then you wouldn't know the kind of coin 3 healthy slaves like them ones will bring us. I'll have a new ship and a new crew before a single moon has passed. You're that chattel? You're worth a shining bloody fortune, and you've me to thank for helping you learn your true worth. Ignore this bleeding sod. In fact, why don't you step back a ways? These coves are about to learn the consequences of breaking the code, and the discussion is like to get messy. Did you not think we'd come for you? You can try to stifle your victim's screams in the darkness, but the shadows are always listening. Come on. You'd think they'd just give up eventually. I appreciate the help, Akabe and Underfoot, but we kind of murdered all of them without struggle. What if there's different dialogue there? I think the first time I completed that quest, it actually took me, they actually spawned in before I killed all of the enemies? I think I could be entirely mistaken. I don't remember. I was kind of rushing through things, as I said. Thank you. I shudder to think what horrid fate awaited us had you not helped us to escape. I knew someone would come. You're just like the heroes in the stories. You always arrive at a perfect time and triumph over the villains. Do you think I could be a hero like you? I know I could be brave and strong too, I just know it. You don't want to be like me, lad. Listen now. Me and those coves there, we're the ones what the scary folk are afraid of. And that's 'cause we keep the rules for the world they live in. We don't much care if you shirk your chores or get into fights. But if you ever break the code and betray your mates, then that's when we'll come after you. No matter how far you run or how well you hide. Live your life like the hero you want to be, though, and you'll never need to worry about that. Aye. You two can stubble it and all. I assume you are the citizens who were abducted by the Jolly Merchants. I'm Captain Milala of the Yellow Jackets. Maelstrom Command has entrusted me with conducting you to safety. It's alright, lad. These folks will take care of you. Go on. You'd best not get left behind. Was there aught else, Captain? Word on a new job? A job? For me? For you? How patently absurd. Why, I'd rather hire a sewer rat to mind my larder. Was it during one of your jobs that you turned Aleport into a slaughterhouse? What dark age is this that we must employ assassins to enforce the law? It is this continued dalliance with underworld miscreants such as you that prevents Limsa Laminsa from ever fully expunging the stain of piratical infection. Look at these weapons you bear. A civilized person uses such implements to carve meat or peel fruit and leaves them at the table where they belong. Do you perhaps clench them twixt your teeth as you swing over rails like the pirates you hunt? Our fair city is no place for those who refuse to abandon the brutish ways of the past. The only champions of justice this nation requires are the valiant and forthright soldiers of the Yellow Jackets. Jack, what the bloody hell does this Krull want with us? I've not the faggiest idea, love. Just smile and nod. I've not come here to be patronized. I've come to put a decisive end to piracy in all its forms. Consider this visit a gauntlet thrown at the collective feet of the Rogues Guild. Heed well my words. Just before dawn this very morn, a Maelstrom vessel stocked with provisions was boarded and looted by pirates. Much of the cargo was stolen, and that is vexing indeed, but it is the theft of 3 items in particular. 3 unique treasures of nigh incalculable worth that most distresses my martial colleagues. As for the brigands, they made well their escape, disappearing into the dawn's mist along with their precious plunder. A rum tale? What's it to do with us? I challenge you. A contest to reclaim these stolen treasures. Should my Yellow Jackets and I succeed in retrieving the greater share, I shall formally propose the abolition of the Rogues Guild. Upon review of our achievements, the Admiral will surely concede that your unscrupulous institution has outlived its usefulness. Ah, blow it out your waddle. A better way to spend me time. Oh, do you now? This institute constitutes a theft against the nation of Limsa Laminsa. Does not violate your beloved code. If I'm not mistaken, you've no choice but to rise to the occasion. Unless, of course, you mean to slink back to your hole and abandon the fundamental precepts of your duty. All right, you screeching shrew. You've made your bloody point, and will be sorry that you did, I promise you that. Your paltry promises amount to naught in the face of my conviction. I shall not rest until Limsa Laminsa is free of every last buccaneer, scoundrel, and shadow-dwelling ne'er-do-well. What now, Jack? For right now, we head back to the sisters. Back to Limsa. Fisher's Guild. Well, at this rate, we may not get super far in our quest to... we may not get super far in Manderville. We might complete 1, maybe 2 quests, depending on how long they are. Because I don't have a ton of time tonight. But we got like another solid hour. For we last that Milala's got some bollocks. And it seems she's well done and with not what whiffs of pirate stock. I don't take kindly to Cull's pulling me strings, but the shrew is right. The code's been broken, and we've got a job to do. From the sounds of it, though, them coves knew what they were about when they cloyed them treasures. I need yet your best. It's time you learn the art of mugging. Rough up a Cull in just the right way, and he'll give up more than what you'd get if you just plain knocked him on his arse. Me and the lads will be busy whittling the story on them bitten baubles, so you're free to head out and sharpen your skill. Might even be as you'll pocket some extra blunt while you're at it, eh? We get to watch the animation of getting the ability, even though it's already on our hard bar. One day I need to go back and actually replay A Realm Reborn with the new look. Just to see all the cool cutscenes again. Been practicing your dance steps? Because we're about ready to run rings around Captain Milala and her swads. The Yellow Jackets have been pressing their investigations into the treasures, what was cloyed from the Maelstrom tub. But, as you know, we've got our own network of coves that don't miss naught of the goings-on about town. As for the sharp end of the job, it'll be you, me, Underfoot, and the Stray. Let's get down to business, huh? The Keb is late to the feast, so I'll make sure we're all on the same page for the now. When you get down to it, we have 2 goals for this job. Bite back them 3 treasures and mill the coves what cloyed them in the first place. You can be sure that the Yellow Jacket shrew will be doing her damnedest to beat us to the marks, and seeing as the fate of the guild is at stake, we'd best not drag our do-beaters on this one. I'd say we grapple them baubles before she's even lifted anchor and give her a proper reason to rage against us rogues. You seem awful keen on this contest all of a sudden, Jack. Aye, well, here's the thing. I sent me a grievance to the Thalassocracy regarding the Shrew's challenge, but them paper shufflers don't care a whit as long as one of us gets the job done. So I figured I'd sail with the wind rather than against it. Besides, we wouldn't want to shirk our duties and force poor Captain Milala to blunder about in the scary Darkmans, now would we? How very gentlemanly of ya. Well, them's the cards we've been dealt, ain't they? Now stow your quips and let's hear what you've learned about them bloody treasures already. Aye, the treasures? According to the manifest of the Maelstrom vessel, we're looking to bite back the Cerulean Star, the Silver Sorrows, and something called the Black Sarcophagus. Aside from the fancy names, I was able to whittle a few more details. The Cerulean Star, for starters, is a big old blue diamond, which shines like, well, like a star, I suppose. Then we've got the Silver Sorrows, a pair of earrings that once graced the wattles of the Sultana of Ul'dah. There's a tale there, but one what don't concern us at present. Lastly, this black sarcophagus thing. I'm afraid that one remained a mystery no matter how much I poked and prodded. In any case, all 3 of these trinkets was recorded as spoils from official privateering raids. Now, as you know, a pirate will usually sell his plunder through a reliable fence. Sometimes, though, holding an auction is the only way to offload goods what is too extravagant or just too bleeding rare for the average cull to deal in. Our 3 wondrous treasures fell into the auction-only category. When the bidding began in Alport, the Thalassocracy weighed in with its ample purse, made some unmatchable offers, then organized a tub for the merchandise to be shipped back to Limsa. And that's when our mark swooped in and picked up the transport clean. I had a few words with them maelstrom sailors that survived the attacks, and they've pointed the finger at the grinning curs. Problem is, not one call's seen hide or hair of the curs. Not to mention their bloody ships since the raid. Sorry I'm late, Jack, but you want to hear this. Some of the cargo, what was cloyed from that transport, was just found during a routine inspection at the Lothagren checkpoint. Lothagren? The curs made landfall then? And what are the treasures? Any mention of them? Not that I've heard, but the jackets ain't done shaking out all the boxes yet. Then we better get eyes out there quick like. Underfoot, you're fresh for the run, ain't you? Come on, I'll race you out to the checkpoint. I won our race. You owe me a pint. Japes aside, though, it looks like Fikebe was right about the cargo. From what I've been able to catch from the swads at the gate, it seems a peddler was boned for carrying goods what was known to be aboard that transport. They carted the poor sod away in chains, but the cargo itself is still here. I saw a pair of jackets carrying boxes up that wooden ramp. We need to know what's in them crates. I get the feeling they won't open their gans for the asking, though. Not while this fool's challenge is going on. Do you think you could skulk over there and see if they found them treasures yet? It's all junk. No diamonds, no earrings, and no bloody black sarcophagus. Looks like we'll have to lean hard on that skinny peddler if we're to find them treasures. The sergeant says that merchant's still pleading ignorance. Claims he was hired to carry the goods through the checkpoint and not else. What a pile of pugil shite. I'm guessing the pirates have split the cargo and are trying their luck at every checkpoint. Captain Milala has already given orders to double the guard and inspects every cart and wagon what comes through. So they found not of value, eh? Bene. I thought we lost the contest before we even properly started. But be that as it may, something don't add up here. Why would you order a call to carry the goods through the checkpoint? No smuggler is that daft, surely. And even if by some miracle the gods ye squirmed through the Lothagren without raising a fuss, why would you risk taking merchandise back to the city what you cloyed it from? No, there's a bigger picture here, and we need to take a step back to see it. Assuming the curs hired this peddler to do their dirty work, there'll be someone in the shadows as brokered a deal. I just happen to know a cove what makes it his business to oversee these kind of shady arrangements. The thing is, this black marketeer bloke changes his haunts depending on how the breeze blows. Quite literally, in fact. I seem to recall the Navigator's Veil being shifted by a westerly this morning, so that'd put him at Tiller's Rest. Nice and close. Why don't we ask him a few questions before we head back to the guild? I pride myself on memory for faces, but yours is unknown to me. Are you an earnest customer or an inquisitive annoyance? I must be sure of your intention. That dance is old, but the name is new. Put away your dancers, rogue. I have peddled my wares to your kind since the upright thieves stalked the night. Speak, what would you have of this humble merchant? Still tormenting the clots, eh, Granddad? We've come for information on a smuggling job. There was this peddler, what was caught in the Lothagran checkpoint, moving merchandise for the grinning curs. Pleaded innocence even when he had the screws put to him. You wouldn't know aught about that deal, would ya? Every last sordid detail. Not a single grain of stolen sand passes through the shadows without my knowledge. But such prickly wisdom lodges tightly in one's throat. What have you brought to ease the pain of its passage? Spare me the theatrics, Granddad. Here's your usual purse. Sum is paid. The deal is made. May my answer sate your fickle hunger. Your hapless peddler was indeed innocent. He was but a beast of burden employed by associates of the grinning curs, and likely knew naught of his freight's tainted nature. A pawn, if you will, a convenient decoy. There are those amongst my acquaintances who specialize in providing such services. Aye, that's what I thought. The curs wanted that call to get caught. And now the jackets have had a taste, they'll waste their time yapping every shite pie what comes through their checkpoints. Meanwhile, the real treasures are hidden away in the Darkmans, along with the grinning curs. Not the Darkmans, Master Rogue, the Mist. Aside from the traveling merchant, the curs' associates have spent coin on another piece for this little game. A navigator, one who is practiced in piloting a vessel through the Doxy's pull. Doxies? The gods only know how many ships have sailed into that fog soup and never come out again. And that's why you say the curs have gone to ground? Now there's a trick that took some bollocks. Once their hunted tub was sitting damper in the mist, though, it would have been too easy to have these associates of theirs ferry the junk goods to the Noska. Then the canny coast just needed to wait for the peddler to get boned and drew the glazes of the Yellow Jackets inland. We need to strike now. As soon as they learn the coast is clear, they'll flee to open waters. A fair appraisal of events. Now that you know the location of your marks, however, it will not be so difficult to track them down. The Doxy's pull was once an impenetrable shroud, but ever since the calamity, the mists are far less constant. Narrow your search to the heaviest banks, and you will soon uncover those who wish to remain unseen. But now, a warning. The mist conceal other dangers besides the dogs you seek. A careless step may land you upon the chopping block. The chopping block? You can't mean... Seems I've found myself another lead to look into. You hurry on back to Jack and tell him what we've learned so far. Okay. I've got this fucking routine down pat. Let me in. I talked to Jack. You know, handle this. About time. He was gone so long I almost sent the stray after you. What happened to Underfoot? So our mics and their bitten baubles are snug inside the Doxy's pulla. I'll not discount the old man's warning, but we may not have a better chance to crush the curs and grapple them treasures. We board their ship right now. You, me, and Vakepe. I suppose we'll be needing ourselves a tub for the voyage. I have wits with sworn sense and can see what the dry docks can spare us by way of a ship and reliable crew. Get your kit together and meet us there. Dry docks. God, 11 months. Fen. I can't believe I've been an affiliate for that long at this point. Actually, now that I think about it, it was the end of November last year. Crazy to think about. Also, your message was only what you look at. I'm sure you meant to say something else, but it got lost in the fold. Alright, I've pulled in some favors, and there's a crew that'll get us close enough to scamper aboard the Corp's vessel. It'll be cramped up on that deck. If we try to mill the whole lot at once, we'll find ourselves soon up against the rails. So we'll go in quick and quiet and try to knock them off a few at a time. Well, lass, eager to test your sea legs? Alright. Just wail away on this guy until he dies. Done. Easy peasy. Jack, I found me one of them treasures. Unless there's another fist-sized blue diamond on board, it's gotta be the Cerulean Star. As for them other two baubles, I've tossed the cabins and have been through the old ilm by ilm, but there's naught else here. Well, we'll just have to ask all sweet like, won't we? Spit it out, Cur. Where are you keeping the rest of your treasures? You think I'd spill me guts for the like of you, rogue? Maybe you wouldn't. At that. But what about this partner you're working with? Oh, we don't need no partner. So you're telling me this was all your own idea? You woke up one day and decided you'd attack a maelstrom transport right off the coast of Aleport, then disappear into the love and embrace of the Doxy's pull. Not exactly your style, is it? The Grinning Curs are too bleedin' famous for being the crew what turned their snouts up at privateering in favor of keeping to the old ways. You've only escaped the Yellow Jackets' grip this long by crawling on your bellies and snatching scraps what fell from the table. You ain't the type to sink your teeth into a Navy-owned vessel, no matter the prize. Aye, well, maybe there ain't no profit in being cautious no more. The age of pirates is swift coming to an end. Merrowweb won't be stopped, not by a piddling little crew like mine. That's why we've thrown our lot in with the executioners. That blue rock was just our share of the loot. The scraps from the table, like you said. If you want them other trinkets, then you'll have to take it up with our new mates. One job at a time. First, we need to get these stinking coves and their tub back to the docks. Putting aside the issue of who gave the orders, there's no doubt that these was the coves that is rated that the Maelstrom ship. Now for a punishment what fits the crime. I was informed that a certain well-known pirate ship was spotted weighing anchor at Morabbey dry docks. I assume this was your work. Aye, you missed all the excitement, Captain. But never ye mind, the Cerulean Star is backing Bob and our sneaky little fanbles. And these must be the Grinning Curs. Degenerate fiends. How dare you ply your filthy trade in the mincing waters? How many innocent sailors were massacred that you might sate your vile avarice? Every one of your kind ought to be lined up and shot. A musket ball is the only answer for this rampant display of lawlessness. Wait. Do you mean to just execute him here on the bloody docks? At least take the buggers into custody first. Handing them over just for lawful punishment will satisfy the demands of the code just as well. We've already got answers to our questions, so feel free to take them away. Do not presume to give me orders, rogue. You only manage to capture these villains and their ill-gotten treasure by employing unsavory and unconscionable means. Why, you're not more than pirates yourselves. These bastards ain't worth a true pirate's spit. The Upright Thieves was formed to protect us from ourselves. Now they're just hunting dogs for the Admiral. Merrowweb yanks the leash, and another buccaneer disappears. You rogues are traitors to your own kind. If it hadn't been for you. Aye, go on then. Blame me and me coves for your own failures. You know what ye was about when you defied the code? You knew that we'd be after you. We're done here. There's still true treasures left, rogue, and I mean to claim them both. I'd reconsider this contest of yours, Captain. Turns out this fish we're trying to hook is a shark, and it might just swallow you whole. How many times can I transport? How many times can I warp back to Limsa in one stream? That's only gonna go for like 2.5 hours. Like, apparently like 18 or something. I don't know. I'm not keeping fucking count. That's way too much work. when I work on that ship, first blood is ours. How'd you take to fighting the sea? There are a few as can drop an opponent as quick as a rogue, but mind you don't exhaust yourself just flailing your blades at the tougher coves. And that goes double for when you've mates on your flanks. If you notice yourself starting to flag, there's not wrong with pulling back from time to time and staggering your attacks with each other to keep the pressure on. I've said it before, lass, but I'll need you sharp enough to carve steel for what's to come. I'm afraid this will be more of a challenge than even what that little shrew was bargaining for. That's assuming the curs wasn't lying about the executioners. And the executioners are who I bloody think they are. Twixt you and me, though, I'm hoping the name is just some laughable coincidence. We have a rough job ahead of us, and that's a fact. Matters are tangled enough with what Milala Mort snapping at our heels. But we still managed to grapple that first trinket without too much fuss. Biting back them 2 other treasures, though, that'll be a different story. Once the stray gets here, I'll explain what, or more to the point, who we're up against. Alright, we have 2 baubles left on the list. The Silver Sorrows and the Black Sarcophagus. Let's see where we're at. Oi, where's Perimu got to? Underfoot. He's still looking to whittle the tail behind that bleeding sarcophagus. We'll not be cloying that stickler until we've at least got an inkling as to what the bloody thing looks like. Treasures aside, I've been doing some digging on my own until this executioner allies of the Grinning Curs, and I'm afraid the name weren't no coincidence. You've heard of the bloody executioners, I hope? It seems them curs was feeding from the famble of one of the Grenation's greatest pirate powers. This ain't no ordinary crew of cutthroats. Within Limsa Lominsa, the bloody executioners wield a power and influence second only to the Admiral herself. They was none too fond of Merylwib or her prohibition of piracy, and it was only the overwhelming threat posed by the Garlean Empire what convinced them to play nice with the Thalassocracy. But pirates ain't one to play nice for long. Now that Hillfear ain't around to helm the ship, the solidarity of the bloody executioners have begun to show cracks. All the strongest captains and lieutenants have begun to form their own factions and are scrabbling to claim the top for the chair for themselves. Of course, not one bloody cove can agree with another on which way the executioners ought to sail. Among these new factions, though, is a group that is pushing to break free of the Admiral's grip completely. Turns out these reformists, as they call themselves, was the one who took the Grinning Curs under their wings. Which means I have possession of at least the last 2 treasures we've yet to cloy. Rumors around town say that even for executioners, these coves are bloody and ruthless and not to be crossed. We should sit this one out, Jack. Piss on Milala's contest. It ain't worth this kind of grief. We'd be in fighting the wrath of a crew so large and dangerous that even the Admiral ain't keen on coming to blows with them. If they ever came after us... Large or small, it doesn't matter. They broke the code when they hit that maelstrom tub. Aye, the Grinning Curs are paying for that crime, but we'd be poor sodden excuses for rogues if we let the real culprits carry on unpunished. I mean to see this job through to the end, and that means biting back them treasures and handing out proper justice to them as it deserves it. But Jack... Listen, with all the infightings going on at present, us stabbing a short blade into one faction's toe ain't gonna bring the whole executioner crew down on our heads. Besides, the reformist buggers are so far split from the main mob that they've been avoiding the city altogether. Now, it's about time we got to work. You're to track down our black market contact. I sent him to look into the Curs' new allies a while back, so he should have some answers for us by now. The veil was lifted by a southerly this morning, so that'd put the old man at his haunt in Lower Lenoska. Here, take this sack of blunt and pay a visit to the House of Styx. That's kobold territory, if you didn't know. The old man bribes him with ore and hires the biggest and meanest sods as bodyguards. Just be ready for your approach to be challenged. I always am ready for a fight. It pretty much happens every quest. It's not uncommon. Yep, we're going that way. I wonder, actually. No, it's not really faster. Actually, Costa del Sol down would probably be faster. Better than flying the entire way across the other map. Hey, buddy. Welcome to the House of Sticks, young rogue. You must excuse my hireling's enthusiasm for greeting visitors. Now, have you any cumbersome baggage of which I might relieve you before we begin a conversation in earnest? A heavy burden for one of your tender years to bear, but its weight has balanced the scales. The sum is paid and the deal is made. Let us speak of these reformists. The faction that so wronged the code now seeks to peddle one of its stolen treasures. The earrings, better known as the Silver Sorrows. The deal, it is said, is set to take place at Costa del Sol. The buyer? A moneyed merchant from the golden sands of Ul'dah. The earring will be out in the open, vulnerable. I would target the moment of transaction were I so inclined, as the gentleman up there by the cabin appears to be, for he purchased this self-same information. Though he attempts to disguise his identity, the stench of a soldier yet lingers. I know not where one such as he came to learn of my existence, but I suspect he works for a certain yellow-coated captain. Brave she is, but foolish. Stumble blindly into the underworld, and your groping hands will not save you from the holes at your feet. Sudden shall be her fall. Back to Limsa. Can't go directly to Costa del Sol, I guess. I guess we're going temporarily back to Limsa to talk to Jack, to have him tell us to go back to Costa del Sol. Well, I was kind of hoping that we'd have some time for Manderville quest tonight, but apparently not, given the fact that this has taken 2 hours. I did not expect this to take literally 90% of the time I had to stream, but oh well, I guess. Welcome back. What information did the old man have on them reformists? Looking to unload them earrings, are they? And to an Ul'dah, no less. Can't say I'm surprised to hear that the buyers are from out of town. You won't find many Laminsons willing to melt coin on aught the Chemcoes is selling. Only the daftest of sods would go without funding them as a mean to pull down the Admiral. Eh? One of Malala's lackeys arrived at the house afore ya? How did they know to... Bah, them curs we captured must have cackled during the Shrew's interrogations. We'll have to assume the Yellow Jackets know what we know. And that means we best get our asses to Costa del Sol right bleeding now. We'll handle this one, Jack. You and her can wait here for Perimu. I've a Kebe. What the hell is she playing at? After her last, she knows this ain't a solo job. Back to Costa del Sol. I was literally just there, but quests upon quests upon quests. Teleport, teleport. I told you to wait at the guild. I don't need... Well, it might be I could use an extra mort in the shadows after all. Jack has his mind set on punishing the executioners, but me? I just want to skulk in, cloy them silver bits, and skulk out. I reckon if I could manage that with no one the wiser, then they wouldn't know who to come after. Finish the job without drawing me daggers, you know? It ain't exactly true to the code, but the shields of the underworld honor won't stop them bloody killers from cutting me mates' throats and setting the sisters a glimmer. The guild's the only place would offer to taking a pirate stray like me, and I'll not see it burn to the ground. The deal's about to start. Say the wid when you're bene to head in. Alright, here's what we know. The rich merchant what's come over from Ul'dah is some old maid of Master Gegaruju. The call as owns Costa del Sol. Gegaruju's taken his guards and dancing dells and pranced off down to the beach someplace, giving over the use of the entire resort to his friend. It seems she didn't want an audience for her bargain with the reformists. Which, as it happens, works out well for us. We'll wait until they're busy haggling over price, then snatch the sorrows and hop the twig before they realize aught's amiss. Sound like a plan? Sure, I'm not doing this the quiet way. There. The players have arrived, and reformists and coin counter and the Ul'dah buyer are setting up on the southeast platform. The errands ought to be nearby. Hang about? What are these other calls? This place was meant to be empty. I see some nasty-looking blokes in Ul'dah garb. Are those mammoths? Ah, that merchant's brought along a whole bloody entourage. I've gone and got ahead of myself. I should have realized this job would never be that easy. We'll have to mill a few of them bodyguards first, I reckon. You don't want to fight through a forest of blades should you get caught sneaking up about the narrow walkways. Check. I thought I'd... Stow your excuses, love. I know full well what you were about. You start going soft on us, though, and it'll be like losing one of me arms. I can't take on the bloody executioners all by myself. It's only because I've got rogues like you, and Underfoot, and her here, that the guild can take the jobs it does. When our coves walk the shadows, it's the bleeding pirates what do the trembling. Remember that, Vikebe. We ain't some two-gill robbers would piss their breeches when daddles are caught in the honeypot. We're the knives and the darkmans, and no bastard wants to go blade to blade with the likes of us. I see you've not changed your mind, then. We'll need all the stabbers you can get. And I promise mine will be there when you need them. Benny. Now let's carve a path to that platform and bite back them earrings. Vikebe, you hide yourself down by the docks in case the mark escaped during the fight. You and me'll split up and mill the guards as we go. It's them puppets that concern me most. I suggest you crash them little buggers before they can spring any rum fun. Creep in as close as you dare, then give them a good, solid clout from behind. I had most of the original strategy, but it doesn't make it any less lethal. Once you're done with the first group, slip back into the shadows and move on to the next. Not to it, huh? I'll head over to the back while you start from the front. Let's wrap this up before the jackets blunder in and scare off our marks. it's going a lot slower than I expected. Let's say that. I kind of expected to be done with this, like, half an hour ago. So I could at least have done one of the, Vanderbilt quests tonight, but, not looking likely given we've at least got this quest and then one more. I mean, yeah, but when I did them skipping dialogue, no, it's fine. When I was skipping dialogue, it took me like 30 minutes, but I should have known that there was going to be a lot of dialogue. Rogues? No one mentioned aught about rogues. What in the hells do you think you're doing? I'm conducting a business transaction on behalf of the bloody executioners. Do you understand what that means? Do you know what they'll do to you? I am all frightened. Odd then that you're the one who's shaken. And it don't matter much to me who you work for. Your bosses broke the code and we're here to collect. Those would be the Silver Sorrows, then. I'm sure you paid a caravan a coin for them shiny baubles, but I doubt they're worth your life. Let's have them, then. Wait, damn you. You should know that this personage is an extremely influential member of the East Aldenard Trading Company. Surely you've heard of it. If the threat of reprisal will not stay your hand, then consider the political ramifications of interfering with a foreign dignitary. The Admiral would not desire you to damage the Limsa's relations with Ul'dah. Yes, exactly. I am very highly placed in Ul'dan society. I have powerful friends who would not be pleased were you to mistreat me in any fashion. And you must understand, the Silver Sorrows are a historical treasure, a gift once bestowed upon Sultana Nanasha ul Nasha by her champion. The earrings were later stolen from the royal vault, and we'd lost hope of ever recovering them. That I might so easily purchase them thus is a miracle. The return on these trinkets will be... that is to say, the Sorrows must be returned to Ul'dah. Can you not look the other way for the sake of my nation's pride? You must think me some dull-witted thug. If this deal was being made on behalf of your country, then why are you sneaking about and consorting with pirates? An excellent point. One might doubt your quality of character were you to continue with these feeble fabrications. You need only to entrust those earrings to me, should you truly wish to see them returned to Ul'dah, that is. After all, 'twas to fulfill that very purpose that the Thalassocracy bid on the Sorrows in the first place. Bit late, aren't you, Captain? I think you'll agree this round belongs to us. On the contrary, my dear scoundrel, I made the winning move the moment I knew we were dealing with a merchant of Ul'dah. I come bearing an official order of seizure authorized by the Admiral herself. You will not be harmed, but I must insist that you cooperate with this reclamation of unlawfully obtained goods. Though Costa del Sol is private property, it nevertheless lies within state-governed territory. Come along quietly, and we need not inconvenience Master Gegaruju any further. These suspects will be taken into Yellow Jacket custody, and do not concern yourself with the Silver Sorrows. They'll be quite safe with me. Well, that didn't go exactly as planned. Bah! The hells take that canary-colored harpy. We might as well have handled the things to her on a velvet cushion. I'll go find Underfoot and help him with his digging. There's still that last treasure out there, and you can be sure the reformists won't be giving it up without a fight. Now you do that. Bene luck to you, love. Ah, there you are. You left before events had truly been decided, and I thought you deserved to know the score. The All-Done merchant has acquiesced to our request and surrendered the Silver Sorrows into our keeping. We've also apprehended the reformist accountant and will be holding him for further questioning. Oh, Bonin, an associate of the bloody executioners. You Yellow Jacket, don't flinch from your duty, I'll give you that. And what's this I hear you about buying information, Captain? I thought you'd sooner die than associate with elements of the underworld. I will do what I must to stay ahead in this challenge, and that Marketeer's knowledge was vital to the case. 'Tis true I might find his practices distasteful, but he is no pirate. It is the fading era of piracy which I mean to consign to the history books, and that chapter will never fully be closed until every pirate-spawned relic, including you and your guild, becomes a thing of the past. Valiant and forthright, these are the words by which Yellow Jackets live. It is the manner in which we protect Limsa Lominsa. I swore an oath on the graves of my sisters, no more shall the innocent suffer at the hands of these savage buccaneers. These unrepentant killers. And a grand oath it is. I've got me fambles full just keeping the code intact. The code is a kind of oath too, when you get down to it. And since I've sworn to uphold it, I've no intention of stepping aside and letting you trample all over me or me coves. In fact, you'd be better off giving in now before matters get more serious. Just say you're sorry, admit defeat, and we'll leave it at that, eh? Your audacity knows no bounds. I'm done wasting words. I shall reclaim that last treasure, and then I will look on victorious as your guild is dismantled brick by brick. That's the spirit, Captain. Just don't forget to keep an eye on them earrings. The city's crawling with rogues, you know. We could keep the Sorrows in a bloody lockbox in Coral Tower, but look away for a moment, and one of me coves will bite them beauties right back. Come on. It's back to the sisters for us. Back to Limsa. Again. That was the level 25 quest. So realistically, we should only have 1 or 2 more max. I honestly... I rushed through them so fast, I honestly didn't even remember that quest existed. That instance existed. Well, after all that hard work, the shrew made off with the spoils. And as far as their damn contest goes, I suppose that makes us even. It'll be the last treasure, this black sarcophagus, that decides the victor. Whatever the reformists are doing to keep it Bob, you can bet your grandmom's teeth that there will be some blade work needed before this job is done. Get yourself ready for a proper scrap. I was wondering when you'd show up, but bugger me if you don't look ready to mill the entire crew of sods by yourself. And Benny, that you are, because we finally uncovered some hard facts about that last treasure. Won't be long now before we cloy the win in peace and put this daft challenge to bed. Alright, I've gathered the other coves for a meeting, so let's get down to it. At long, bloody last, the black sarcophagus has given up its secrets. Underfoot, you have some news for us? Hi, Jack. I think half our troubles in whittling the truth of it lay on calling this nasty thing a treasure. The black sarcophagus ain't no dimber bauble. It's a mark... I forget what L1 is in, fucking Roman numerals. Magitek mine. A blatant prototype explosive, what was bitten from an Imperial transport vessel. And even though it ain't that big, maybe the size of a small cargo box, they say the blast would have enough kick to incinerate a bloody behemoth. Seems the Garleans meant to start production at their factory in Lenoska, then to distribute the mines through Castra Meridian. Luckily, some plucky privateer cloyed the prototype en route then, eh? An experimental weapon. That explains why the Thalassocracy was so bleeding eager to bid that at auction, and so reluctant to share the details with us. At least we now know the what, but there's still a question of where. The Kurds delivered their bitten goods to the reformists, that much is certain. Whatever happened to the sarcophagus after that, though, we ain't so sure. There have been no reports of huge explosions or the like, so either the executioners still have the mine, or they've peddled it to some other buyer. The reformist faction came together out their shared hatred for the Admiral and her ways. I'm guessing they didn't cloy that bomb just to sell it. What is it, Lonnie? Letter for you, Jack. Says it's urgent. A letter? Who's it from? The old man. Found it while I was sorting through our daily deliveries. Let's see now. Come to Thalos, or Thalos. I have urgent news. I've never known the old man to summon a customer. No one's seen him at his usual haunts for a while, so do you reckon this old Sum's rum morsel he's dug up just for us? It could be. You and me are headed down to Thalos. Underfoot, Vikebe, you're to take another stab at pinning down the exact location of the sarcophagus. I know how this ends, because I've done this questline already, just hadn't read the dialogue. Luckily, with my great increase in power and more abilities, it should be quite simple to deal with this last instanced battle. Well, he's not dead, I don't think. I mean, I'm aiding him, I'm not searching him, so, you know, that's a good sign. You're wasting your time, darling. We opened that Scragg's wrinkled throat bells ago. You cross the bloody executioners and you get what's coming to you. Did you like our message? Wasn't sure you'd fall for it, but a little mystery goes a long way, huh? Aw, now don't be like that, darling. Me and me mates didn't have much choice. When the boss says, go play with the rogues, then we gotta go play with the rogues. After all, we never asked you to come ruin our game now, did we? And don't give me no long-winded speech about your precious code. The reformist vision stretches far beyond what them tired old rules is good for. Once Captain Icebir takes command of the executioners, he'll give us back the teeth we lost when we submitted to the Admiral's leash. We'll play the terrors of the sea once more, free to rove and plunder in a new age of pirate glory. And I'll bathe in the blood to see that aid come to pass. I'll kick down your shite-stinking code and have all your sneaky heads on the chopping block. Like hell's you will. The only sentence what's being passed today is yours. Hello there, darling. Ain't you a fine-looking lad? I've heard all this prattle before. Free to pillage and plunder, is it? Aye, it all sounds grand, but you don't think of the price. That shit-stinking code is the only thing that what keeps you bloody coves from milling one another. Without it, without Limsa Laminsa to call home, you'd be adrift in an ocean of quarrens. But if you're so keen to keep company with the dead, I'd be sodden happy to oblige. You was prettier with your gob shut, but I can see I'm out of me depth here. As much as I'd like to lop off your noggins, I'll have to be satisfied with dragging the two of you out into the wilds. Kept you well out of the way, haven't I? Out with it, then. Ain't it obvious? You stubborn scrags is looking to swipe our new toy, and my job was to stall you. The captain has the mine with him right now. He's set to show the rest of the executioners that he's got the stones to sit in the leader's chair. And what better way to do that than executing the bitch what snapped the chains on our crew? He's targeting the Admiral himself? Or herself? You're planning to blow up the command room, ain't you? You have me permission to panic. Of course, if you'd rather steer clear of the city, I'd be glad to keep you company right here, sweet meat. We've got this mad Mort at our mercy, but she seems to be enjoying herself. I'd better drag her back to the guild and see what other information she'll spill. I'll need you back in Limsa as well, but you've business at the foremast first. You should find Captain Milala at her post there. Forget about the sodden challenge and tell her everything we know. Unless we meet judgments well off kilter, she'll know what needs to be done. Yeah, that's probably for the best. And if this bomb is nearly as strong, mine/bomb is nearly as strong as they say it is, it'll probably kill a lot of innocent people, too. Not that, you know, it detonating in the middle of the city and probably killing a bunch of guards and Meryl Whip is a good thing. It is, like, not worth, like, rushing to begin with. But the innocent lives are, you know, a bit pressing. Oh, you're one of Jack's rogues. You've come to steal the sorrows, have you? Well, you shan't have them. As you can see, they're safely clasped upon my very own... You're not here for the earrings. The Admiral, you say? And you are sure these fiends are in possession of the sarcophagus? I must deploy more sentries at once. Do not think this voids our challenge, rogue, and you can relay as much to your impudent guildmaster. I suppose you can thank him for the warning as well. Actually, let me just get into this. No, I can't get in through here. Well. Looks like I have to teleport again. Probably spent a couple thousand gil on this stream alone just going back and forth to Limsa. So the jackets are on the move? Bene. I've been listening to that addled pirate cackle since I got her back to the sisters, but she's given us not what we didn't already know. And we know more than enough. I say we rally the rogues and go after that mine before it blows up in our muns. If the leader of the reformists, this Captain Ashabir, is planning on milling the Admiral with a bang, then my guess is he'll be aiming to demolish the entire command room. You know that mizzenmast, eh? That tower that holds the Dragon Wench in Bulwark Hall? The Admiral's bridge and her command room are right at the top of it. Then you've got the district which surrounds the mizzenmast. That's the busy beating heart of the city. Even with the threat of an attack, you can't just seal it up in the blink of the eye and call the whole thing Bob. Try to explain the danger that calls what live and work there, and then you'd have a frightened stampeding mob on your fanbles. Nay, lass, our only option is to have eyes snilching every approach to the tower. I'll put the wit out as many covs as I can and spread them through the streets. Your job will be to cover the aft castle. Just wait and see. We'll get this acid beer and his little bomb too. Teleport back to the aft castle. Everything seems fine. Like, sure, I know how this goes, and I know the instance that we're going to be doing, but how the hell do they get in past us? Ugh. The fog picked a grand night to roll in thick. This'll make things interesting. That would explain it. Our presence on the street is far too thin. Where are the reinforcements I ordered? My apologies, Captain. There just aren't any more soldiers to spare. The bulk of our forces have already been assigned to guard not only the Admiral, but another number of high-ranking personnel as well. Unacceptable! What could Commodore Reiner be thinking? There are dangerous criminals stalking the city as we speak. Call in squads from the outposts if you must, but I want to see our security tightened and our populace properly protected. But, Captain, we can't be certain the pirates' plans haven't changed. If we consider the possibility that they've switched to a target outside the walls, it would be folly to weaken those defenses. You've made your point, Sergeant. Return to your post. Yeah, it's a tough call. Definitely. Once all is lost, it is far too late to question what one should have done. You seem troubled, sir. Perhaps I can be of assistance. I've been dying to meet you, lass. I came to set eyes on the old yellow belly, what cost our crew a fortune in Uldan coin. You're an executioner, one of Isabir's men. You've strayed far into a world you don't understand, lass. Your eyes are fixed on the light of justice, leaving you blind to a chasm opening up at your feet. Well, shit. At least they'll say you died with your boots on. The yellow belly won't be bothering us no more, Captain. As for the mine, the lads will have it primed in front of the wench by the time you get there. Good. Not long now before we drag that bitch Admiral, her pretty tower, and all her simpering curs down to the bottom of the sea. Then I'll raise our flag in the ruins of the mizzen mast and lead our brethren in a return to the old ways of blood and plunder. Oh, I wasn't expecting them to actually kill her unless she's not dead. I should not have had that last bottle. Bottles? Life is gonna kill me. Eh? What's that then? Still moving and breathing. Not after the command room. They mean to bring down the entire tower. If the mizzen mast falls, the bridges will follow. Half the city will. Please, you must help me. The danger far greater than we... Bloody hells! It's alive! Oh, no, I didn't see nothing. Didn't see nothing. Please, you must send word. Well, you know, you tried. Someone must be told. How did you... Your valiant and forthright weapon. You could hear that single pistol shot from miles away. Weren't hard to guess what happened. I poked the yellow jackets on me way over. A healer will be along shortly. Ben. That means we've only one last thing to do. We have never been allies, but I beg of you. You must stop them. Save the city. Yeah, no, I think we'll just let it explode, you know, just, you know, fair's fair and all, you know. You were kind of a bitch, you know, let a bunch of innocent civilians die because you're an asshole. Yeah, no, we're gonna save the fucking city. What else are we gonna do? Just stand back and watch it happen? Ah, lass, you know you don't even have to ask. Taking down mad calves and biting back what was bitten is our job. You all set then? Ready, Jack. Always. Let's kill some fuckheads. Then let's go cloy that sarcophagus and fit us a beer for a new coffin. Honestly, out of all of the, like, job quests that I've done, like, story-wise, this has been one of the better ones. So, honestly glad that I, like, took this sort of time and off, sort of took this time while we're still working on leveling this job to actually go through and do this. Actually, I already know what to do. His name is fucking Asabir Badwind. Oh my god, Badwind of all fucking things. Come on, let me... Thank you. Well, there goes all 3 detonators. Easy peasy. Limsa stands, as it did the first time I did this. But, you know, the added context does help. Hey, maybe we shouldn't be standing within death distance of the big fucking bomb. Status report? The mine has been disabled and the engineer should have it safely removed. Our soldiers sustained some injuries in the battle with the reformists, but none were fatal. Also, the Admiral sends her sincerest gratitude. Look, there she is. That's Captain Milala, the hero of Limsa Laminsa. You recovered from your wound, Captain? We heard how you nearly lost your life stopping that horde of pirates from blowing up the mizzenmast. 3 cheers for the Yellow Jackets! Our city would be lost without ye. But wait, that's not how it... Sergeant, what of the rogues? Did they survive the battle? I don't rightly know, Captain. All we found near the sarcophagus were reformists, either dead or strung from the rafters. Alive, then. 'Twould seem we are deeply in their debt. Captain, might I have the silver sorrows from you now? We've been ordered to hand them over to the Commodore along with the black sarcophagus. Why, of course, they're right here. The earrings. I could have sworn I was still... God damn it, Jack. He wouldn't have. He stole them from me while I lay dying. That cad. I knew he was not to be trusted. Keep an eye on them, indeed. I should have known. I mean, what do you expect from a bunch of roguish thieves? It's exactly in the playbook. Now you're wearing them, huh? Are you sure about this, Jack? We should have cloyed the sarcophagus as well. Yeah, I think she's earned it, don't ya? If it bothers you that much, think of it as a trade. If you ask me, they look a bit daft. Well, I didn't ask ya. So, the jackets ended up with the mine, and we got the diamond and the earrings, which means... victory belongs to the Rogues Guild. Do you think Milala will leave it at that, then? I get the feeling we ain't done with her yet. I'd say we're done with her challenge, but you never know when our paths will cross again. We'll just have to see what Limsa's underbelly spits up next. Aye, the city ain't ever quiet for long. Well, it's been a pleasure working with you. If I ever need a trusty pair of stabbers by my side, I'll know who to ask. I'm off as well. Bloody starving I am. Don't forget to yaffle a bite when you can. Eh? We'd best head back to the sisters, too, before the sure decide she'd rather hear us cry cockles. Bene work. Be seeing you soon. Holy fuck. Literally vanished. There's nowhere to hide. You just disappeared. I'm not teleporting back. I can just go to the Fisherman's Guild using this. I've used enough gil today. Oh there! It'll be nice to finally have a bit of a rest, huh? Job never ends, but even a dimber-damber like myself needs to breathe every now and again. And your veteran mates must be wondering where you've got to. That was a proper long assignment, but I'm glad you've decided to see it through. You've proven to be a stalwart protector of the code, even if this ain't truly your world. When you walk back into the Lightmans, you'll have to find your own code to uphold. And when you do, you'll have the skills you learned in the shadows to help you defend it. Well, that's more than enough prattle out of me. Your travels might take you far and wide, but know you're always welcome here at the Sisters. And we're done. And just about at the 3-hour mark, which is pretty much exactly the amount of time I had time for tonight, unfortunately. I do sincerely hope to be back to 4 or 5 hour streams, hopefully, in the coming weeks. Unfortunately, I have been so busy with work that I haven't had as much free time as I would have liked, especially this week with me working so many closings, but what can you do? I don't know. I do want to give one heads up. There is a decent non-zero chance that next week I will only be streaming Pathfinder. One of my other closers is doing something for college, I guess, that's stopping them from doing, stopping them from closings for like a week and a half, 2 weeks. So I might be stuck with 4 or 5 closes next week. Hopefully that's not the case. And if it is the case, hopefully I'll be able to get on at some point. Maybe, hopefully they'll be late enough in the day where I can squeeze in a stream like middle of the afternoon. But there's no way for me to know ahead of time. But regardless, I am ready. I mean, I'm not ready to start Stormblood, but my hope is that I'm going to log in every day, finish leveling to 60. Maybe next week we'll do the ninja quests, which have not taken me very long to do generally. But, and then we'll start Stormblood officially. If I can get a full stream in next week. It'll really depend on how my schedule works. I miss streaming 5 days a week, but life's a bitch. What can you do? My camera vision is too low to shrug on camera. But regardless, thanks everybody so much for watching if you still are. I will be back on Wednesday in the afternoon to play more Final Fantasy 16, not 14. Similar, almost identical things, Roman numerals, but just reversed on the V and the I. If you enjoyed and want to catch more streams, the follow button or the subscribe button on YouTube is always there to hit to get notified for when I go live. Join the Discords for our weekly schedules because, God, they have been so very different this last couple months. God, I wish we'd just hire a couple more people so I wouldn't have to fucking do this shit. But regardless, I hope everybody enjoyed and have a good night. I'll hopefully see you all on Sunday. Not Sunday. Sunday? What the fuck is wrong with me? Wednesday. That's the day I'm looking for. Bye-bye.